Good morning, and joining us in studio, Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. Tom, great to have you here.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having me.
you joining us. So, Judicial Watch, once again, I see these headlines and I think, I have to check. This must be an old story because Judicial Watch uncovered more of Hillary's emails, and that can't possibly be a news story because they've got them all already. But you keep getting these emails from Hillary Clinton, from her server that have either previously been not turned over or that were classified. You're finding all sorts of things. How many emails did you get this time, and what did you find in them?
We got a bunch of emails, about 288 pages of additional emails, and we've been getting them in dribs and drabs. And as you noted, these are the emails that were about yoga, the ones that she didn't turn over to the State Department. The 33,000 deleted emails that the FBI magically was able to either recover by undeleting the material or finding them elsewhere. And they include classified information about Northern Ireland. They include sensitive information about CIA operations in Afghanistan. They show Sidney Blumenthal, who is kind of a shady character associated with the Clinton world, who was so bad the Obama White House didn't want him working at the State Department, nevertheless was secretly advising Hillary Clinton, including sending her classified information because we couldn't get the information because it's classified in email she sent us or the State Department sent to us. And on top of that, you also have Bill Clinton writing her speeches as well, or helping draft her speeches. So it was all hands on deck for Hillary Clinton. And, these emails show classified information. Generally, prior information we've received show the interplay of the Clinton Foundation getting favors for donors and others through the State Department. And you got to wonder why it is this Justice Department is still sitting on this issue, at least legally, in terms of not prosecuting her. We got evidence after evidence, pieces of evidence showing that she mishandled her classified information on her server and with no prosecution.
I mean, she would have had to be a pretty incompetent Secretary of State to be incapable of determining that classified information was being mishandled on her private email server. I mean, she'd have to be practically brain dead to not realize that. And that's why it was so weird when James Comey came out, forgave all the behavior, of course, and subsequently you say you've not even received any inkling or any hint that prosecutors are taking a serious look at the way this was handled.
That's to me the big question. I don't understand why the media doesn't pursue this. Is what is Jeff Sessions and Director Wray's position on what Comey and Lynch did in terms of not prosecuting Hillary Clinton? Do they agree that the law could be upended the way they did and no prosecutions occur? Are they going to prosecute her, or do they agree with Comey's lawless approach, giving her a get-out-of-jail-free card? Complete silence. And to me, in this case, silence means complicity.
But Cheryl Mills is mentioned in this. So some of these emails went back and forth with Cheryl Mills. But wasn't Cheryl Mills given immunity? Was Lynch given immunity? I mean, I know the FBI was handing out, the DOJ under Obama was handing out immunity to pretty much all the players in this email saga, except for Hillary. I don't think she got immunity in anything. So why not go forward with this? Because everybody's got immunity.
Well, I don't think they were given immunity in the general sense that you may believe, Mary. I think it was limited immunity for particular testimonies. But if Cheryl Mills and Yuma Abedin also knew and approved of, and of course, Abedin had an email system on this server, which also had classified information on it, that classified information was being mishandled in this way, they may have liability as well, so they don't have immunity. And that's one of the reasons I think they don't want to move against Hillary Clinton, because there are a lot of other people they'd have to move against over this extreme mishandling of classified information. Remember, dozens of emails, dozens of pieces of information, including, we already know, 20-plus emails that include the highest levels of classification were present on this server. And she had an obligation personally to make sure this was done. She had what is called original classification authority. So you are supposed to be able to analyze immediately what comes in and out and classify it and protect it or otherwise. And the email shows she didn't give a rat's tail about that when warned about it.
And she has senior staff who are moving information from classified environments into unclassified environments and communicating it with her on, again, a private server, which seemed pretty susceptible to cyber attacks. I know you're battling the government actively. I mean, it's not just getting these documents out yesterday. You have court hearings, today and tomorrow? What's going on here?
Yeah, 2 Clinton email court hearings. One today on this effort to get all of these emails. The government hasn't turned them all over to us, the State Department. There's information that's withheld. We may have to fight to get that additional information out of them. For instance, what were her communications with Barack Obama? I don't think we've seen any of that. And then tomorrow we have a case in our Benghazi investigation, which has been impacted by this because Hillary's emails. We're asking for her testimony under oath in person. So the judge finally is going to take a look at that tomorrow and see what next. It isn't over for Hillary Clinton.
I love that. I love that it's not over for Hillary Clinton, because I think most of us figure, nothing's going to come of this. It's old. She's not president. Who cares? Come on. I don't know why you're bothering with this. She's not president. Trump,
that's an argument for government
Well,
secrecy.
she's a powerful politician who's now advocating and inciting violence this week. So I think there always needs to be accountability for the powerful in this town.
All right, we've got more with Tom Fitton coming up, 7:43 on WMAL. Good morning. Welcome back to Mornings on the Mall. In studio with us, Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. And Tom, Rod Rosenstein was supposed to meet with House lawmakers today. That meeting called off, and nobody's talking, nobody's saying why. Do you have any ideas?
Because I think they're concerned about what Rod Rosenstein did with respect to meetings with top FBI officials last year, where they discussed invoking the 25th Amendment to remove the president, wearing a wire on the president, and then, of course, appointing a special counsel. And there's an incredible story today, I think it's in the Washington Post, where Rosenstein and Andy McCabe are meeting with Bob Mueller, arguing over who should recuse themselves, as if Mueller is the decider. You know, it just shows you the corrupt ethical mess behind the appointment of the Mueller operation, or the Mueller special counsel, and that Mueller, in effect, is really running the DOJ, because the only reason Rosenstein supposedly is still there in terms of running the Mueller operation and hasn't recused himself, because, as you know, he was involved in the firing of Comey, is because Mueller supposedly is comfortable with that. Well, talk about the tail wagging the dog.
Right. Yeah, it's an unbelievable story in the Washington Post, and as a part of what appears to be information warfare going back and forth between Andrew McCabe and Rod Rosenstein, because we see the New York Times pieces, these Washington Post pieces, the two men attacking each other, trying to set the theme, and now you have the president who it looked like on the cusp of actually firing Rod Rosenstein. He has a meeting with him on Air Force One. And now the sounds that we're hearing from the president is he's basically happy for now with Rod Rosenstein, and that they have a good working relationship. What do you make from all that?
I don't know. I don't know if the president's going to let him go eventually or not. Maybe they just leave on their own. The problem the president has, every act he take, he fired Comey. Now then they ginned up a special counsel over that. And if he does anything with Rosenstein, despite the evident problems that Rosenstein had, I'm sure they'll threaten him with more criminal prosecution. So he's between a rock and a hard place there. But if I were Rosenstein, I'd be concerned about my future employment. But it gets back in the end to Mueller. When you see the corruption here in the appointment, when you see that it was part of a plan to overthrow the president, you got to wonder, do we need a special counsel to investigate the creation of the special counsel?
Yes.
It's that crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting, but given everything, the piece that just came out about McCabe and Rosenstein, you would think that would be even more reason that Congress would want him to sit in front of them and ask him questions. You would think that there would be that meeting where questions could be asked, as opposed to putting it off.
You know, they're going to have a private meeting, and how sweet that is. They should have had subpoenas and open hearings about this whole issue, given the gravity of the situation. Again, trying to take out the president through licit and illicit means. Now, supposedly the other FBI officials in that meeting, for instance, about the wire, didn't think Rosenstein was joking, as if the joke was appropriate to begin with.
But the people who characterize that to James Baker are two people, Andrew McCabe and Lisa Page, who have it out for Rod Rosenstein. So who knows how this is all working?
We can have a hearing about absurd allegations against an incoming Supreme Court justice, but no hearing about government officials talking about illegally targeting the president.
Bingo. Smart points as always.
Because
Tom Fitton.
Democrats don't want it, just saying.
Really appreciate
Some Republicans don't either.
Tom Fitton, really appreciate you joining us, man. Good to have you by.